Good morning, YouTubers. T Square with T Square Talk. Hope everybody's having a great day. Got a great video planned out for you guys today. Today is Saturday morning, and every Saturday morning, we'd like to take everybody's Friday comments and answer them, talk a little bit about them, give people my thoughts, my opinions, and see what's on people's minds. This is a great opportunity for people to kind of really reach out to me and just kind of get questions answered if they have questions about something. It can be pretty much about anything. If I know the answer, I will let y'all know. If I don't, then I'm just going to say I don't really know much about it. Sometimes I do get hit with a comment that I just don't really know exactly what they mean or what they are asking, or I just don't know the answer. So, but we can look it up. We can figure it out. And with that being said, that is today's video. I think it's going to be a great video. I never know how long these videos are going to last because some days we get a lot of comments and other days we get just, a handful, and it's something simple like good morning or something easy like that. So we'll see. There's a good mix of comments in here. So with that being said, let's get started. I think I counted like 48 comments. Not a ton, so I think it'll be a relatively easier one, probably a couple hours, but we'll see. So with that being said, let's get started. D-Man, what is up? Good morning, T. We appreciate all your work. FYI, perhaps buying necessities would be the better investment at this point. I'm guessing supplies might become scarce kind of soon. So yeah, I've always said on the channel that I think it's important that people have a backup supply of food, water, have stuff that you need. If all of a sudden things start getting crazy, it could be difficult. After food and water, I've always said security. And then after security, now security is going to be a little different for different people, depending on where they are in the world. Some of us can have pew-pews. Some of us can't. After that, then I get into precious metals. And some have even made the argument you should have other stuff after security, like medicine or different stuff like that, batteries. I mean, the list goes really on and on and on of what is a necessity. So I think you using the word necessities would be a better investment. I think you would be very wise to have a fair amount of stuff that you're going to use, but be very careful. Sometimes people buy stuff they don't really need, or they acquire stuff they don't really need, and then it ends up just going to waste. So don't go out and spend a bunch of money on stuff you don't use. I'll give you an example. When I first started prepping, I'm not a spam person. However, I did panic just a little bit when I first started prepping, and I bought a bunch of spam. I don't even really like spam that much. Will I eat it? Yeah, I'll fry it up, put it with an egg or something, and eat it if I had to, but it's not my favorite. So pick up stuff that you will use. That way you can kind of rotate it in the mix and kind of go from there. So a great comment, Demand. Thank you so much. And moving on to the next one. How long will precious metals go? How low will precious metals go in 2026? Nobody's got a crystal ball, Nanya. We could see it continue to drop. I worry a little bit about the summertime because usually summertime is when prices do fall. However, we've been on a big run recently. So the fact that we're seeing a little bit of a pullback, I'm not really worried. We had a great year last year. Even this year, I think we're still up just a little bit. If we are down, we ain't down by much. Now, you did say in your comment, you said gold, silver, and platinum. Now, I ended up pulling up all three charts. I don't usually look at platinum because I'm not a fan of platinum. But I know a lot of people that watch the channel are, and I'll show you why here. So this is the platinum chart, up 0.5% yesterday. Year to date, down 12.5%. A 5-year chart, it's only at 57%, 58%. Taking a quick look, though, at gold year to date. Gold year to date is still up 4.5%. So it's still up for the year. I know a lot of people that put money in CDs, and they get 3 to 5% on a CD for a whole year. So year to date on gold, already up 4.5%. Personally, I think that's looking good. Over a 5-year run, up 160% on gold. So gold is doing well still. I don't even think silver right now on the year to date is doing that good. Well, I was going to say it's breaking even, but no, it's down about 2% year to date. But now you can see why I'm not a fan of platinum quite as much, down 12.5% versus silver down 1.76%, but it can make that up pretty quick. Looking at a 5-year chart on silver, up 178%. We are in a slope right now. You know, it is looking rough. It's kind of interesting with everything going on in the Middle East that silver and gold is not going up. I had a couple people reach out to me yesterday and ask me why that was. In my opinion, it is manipulation. And I could say that here on YouTube until I'm blue in the face. And there are going to be people out there that just don't believe in manipulation. But statistically, during the events that are happening right now, we should see the price going up, and we're not. So, Conrad, the Friday bump up, limiting payday purchasing power for the weekend. Yeah, so we did have a little bit of a bump up for the weekend. Typically, we've seen this play out over the weekend. Everybody knows a lot of people will go out and buy precious metals on the weekend, especially getting paid Friday. They got the weekend, they can pick stuff up, and all of a sudden we get that bump up. We'll see how that plays out. There's going to be a lot of people that will go to the coin shops, pick up at this $70 level, and I think still 70 is looking good, but I do think we could see the price dip down next week. I would worry specifically about Sunday night and Monday and Tuesday, but I still believe over the course of next month we'll already be back in the green. So who knows? We'll see how that will play out as time goes on. Wes Steffen, it's hard to know what to do when one guy says silver will hit $200 this year and the next guy says it will pull back to 20. Confusing times. I'm guessing the truth is in there somewhere. So yeah, YouTubers, there's such a wide range of YouTubers out there on what people are saying. 200 this year is looking a little hard that we're going to see that. I can't picture us going up that high now. I mean, I put in my prediction at the beginning of the year. I said 175. I started getting more bullish on that prediction as the year went on, but my official prediction when we were cruising higher and higher and we were at 122, I said, man, maybe my 175 prediction is going to be way under the mark. And now that we are going down, I think could be over the mark. But a lot can happen in the later part of the year. We'll see what happens. As we just looked at silver, it's only down less than 2%. I'm not at all worried about that. I am dollar cost averaging. I pick up what I can when I can, and I just play it by day. Pulling back to 20, I think, is extreme crazy talk, in my opinion. I haven't heard anybody say 20 yet. I've heard 35 is about the lowest I've heard, but we'll see. It is definitely a confusing time with everybody's predictions so wild. But there's a lot of wild stuff going on. And here's the thing I got to say. If silver goes to $20 and the U.S. dollar totally collapses, what would you rather have? A collapsed, worthless $20 bill or a $20 ounce of silver? So, it's just something to think about. That's why I don't really look at it like that. I know some people sweat when the price falls. I'm not at all worried about it. Donald Ham, next comment. Hey, T. Could you explain the silver to gold to platinum ratio? How to know which would be the best buys, your friend up in Maine. So silver to gold to platinum ratio, I've never heard it called that, but there is a silver to gold ratio. There's a gold to platinum ratio. It's usually comparing 1-to-1, essentially. So either you pick any two items, you compare it, whether that's the dollar to oil ratio, the gold to oil ratio, the gold to Dow Jones ratio. So we're going to pick two at random. We're going to pick gold and silver because we talk about the gold silver ratio quite a bit, but you can do the math yourself on that too. Taking a look at this chart real quick, this is a gold to silver ratio. The two most popular metals, essentially, not the two priciest metals, because I know some people might argue that platinum is better, but basically you're taking the gold price and you're dividing it by the silver price. Or you could do the platinum price by the gold price by the platinum price by the silver price. Right now, for the same amount of money, you can get 1 ounce of gold or 64.35 ounces of silver. People watch this chart on a regular basis. You can see here, this is the movement over the last, last year roughly. You can see that we did go up all the way up to 104, came all the way down to 46. Now, the thought process behind this, we're going to zoom out on this one all the way back, as far back as this chart will go. What people look at on this chart is when you have it way on the top, or what seems to be high. I mean, this says 111 to 1 at one point in April of 2020. I actually remember when it got up to 125 to 1, but it doesn't show it on the daily trading. It had to be somewhere in this time frame, and then in the middle of the day it just really jumped and then all of a sudden came back down. But as this line goes lower and lower, a lot of people think your opportunity is you better hurry up and do your swap and then continue it on. And you can essentially buy here. Up here, you're going to buy, say, silver where it's higher. And then as it comes down, you trade for gold and back and forth and back and forth, where some people just use the same investment and they're trying to play the parts. Personally, though, I think this is kind of still out of whack a little bit. And the reason I think that is this chart right here shows it went down to 34.77 in April of 2011. So that was when we had the big run up on silver. However, we actually went down to 20 to 1. And it doesn't show the individual. So the extreme ends of the spectrum are not on here on this chart. However, I think what we've seen recently at, what was it again? I said it a minute ago. Was it 54 or, hold on here. Let's pull this back a little different now. Let's just say 6 months. So, boom. I think this down here at 46, it appears to have been a good opportunity, but I think we've got potential to still go lower as the silver price will, I believe, run at some point. But this is not financial advice. It's just my opinion. And so that kind of answers the question on that. Like I said, you can plug any two numbers and compare them. I hope that answered that question for you. Before I go on any further, please take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel. It really helps the channel out more than you know. I push these videos out every Monday through Friday, and then on Saturday I dedicate the whole video to you guys. Whatever you want to talk about, we talk about, and that's what we're doing right now, is answering people's questions and really getting into the meat and potatoes of what you guys want to hear about. So please hit that subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and with that being said, let's continue on. So that answered your question, Donald. I can't thank you enough for that. I hope you're doing great up in Maine. I wish I was up in Maine. I could use some cooler weather. It's been hot here in Texas. Let's see. Good morning, T. I hope your video keep on stacking. Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough for that. For those of you that don't know what that is, we only get people will only get 3 hypes in 1 week. And so if someone uses their hype on one of my videos, I am extremely thankful. So thank you so much, Carmela. I really do appreciate that. Next comment, Ben, going all in on gold. So yeah, I know a lot of people are right now going all in on gold. And we talked a little bit a few minutes ago about gold, and the gold numbers looked really good. It still looks really good. It's up for the year, which a lot of people are excited about that it's still up even when all other precious metals have really taken a big hit. 44.93. We saw a nice jump today, which was kind of interesting that silver got beat down, but gold had that jump. And I shouldn't say it got beat down. It didn't do as good, in my opinion. As you can see, gold did 2.65%. Silver did 2.55%, but it did good. However, I think we're too close to a major delivery date, and after that, we could see a nice run up. So definitely want to keep your eyes open for deals right now, just in case. But gold has been doing good. It's looking good, and I think a lot of you are going to do really well with both metals, but I understand why people are choosing gold right now. Next comment. How do you feel about the potential to be recalled? Okay, so that's because I am military is what that is. So there's a couple things there for that. I, would not want to be recalled. However, I don't know if I could be recalled because I am fully retired with a medical retirement. But it is possible that if you get medical, they could recall you, but I don't think they would at that point. But who knows? We'll see. For people that maybe did 4 years, I could picture them getting recalled. I hate to say that. They did their 4 years and then they just recently got out. That could happen. For people that are reservist, I could definitely see them getting called up to active duty. There's a lot of people out there that think, oh, I'm just a reservist. I do my 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year and it's free money. Those people are definitely being trained for a reason. So that could happen in their case. Precious metals de facto confiscation for national security, not door to door, but penalties, super tax, etc. Stacking tins or any hedging against FEMA. I'm not sure what they meant by stacking tins or any hedging against famine. I'm not sure what that means. We'll talk, because we just talked a little bit about prepping and preparing, that food and water should be a priority. I'm not really sure what that means, but yeah, I would think that would be important, that you are stacking other than precious metals, food, water, that type of stuff. Confiscation for national security, it could happen, but I mean, come on. When people say that, I'm like, you have a metal that is literally getting destroyed year to date, and you want to confiscate it? We've never had it confiscated. We have had penalties, like you did state a minute ago, not door to door, but penalties. I'm not convinced a lot of people would turn it in today. It's not the same thing. Not many people even have it, have precious metals. Too few people have it. So I don't think they would have to go that route. I don't even think they would go that route for how few people have it. And I don't think people would turn it in. If I'm not getting anything for it, I would throw it in the ocean before I gave it up. I hate to say that. Yeah, there you go. I don't have it anymore. It's gone. Why would I give something up for free or at a loss? And there are people out there that are at a loss right now if they started stacking this year. I think the easiest way to get it is simple. All they got to do is just say, hey, we're going to buy it off people at $100 an ounce. And people would run right now to sell it. I would even be tempted to sell it if they said, we're going to buy it at $100 an ounce and you're going to get the money tax free. One time, turn your silver in, turn your gold into the government, $100 an ounce for silver, I don't know, $5,500 an ounce for gold, and no tax one time. I could take that money and I could invest it in something else. There would be a lot of people that would run out and sell it. They don't have to confiscate it. Why risk people not giving it up? And the problems, it would just go into hiding. We've seen it happen before. All these numismatic coins that you see today, think about how those are still here. That's someone not turning it in. And they make a lot of money off collectible silver coins. Take a look at like the U.S. Mint website. I mean, people buying Silver Eagles at what, 160? Let's see if we can find it. U.S. Mint website. Let's just see here real quick. They make too much money off this stuff to essentially confiscate it when they can just keep selling. I mean, let's see here. Let's find something silver. I don't use the Mint website that often, so it might take a minute to find it. 1 ounce of silver, $200, and then all of a sudden, to think people are going to turn that stuff in. Congratulations, set 2025 West Point Eagle. People ain't going to turn that stuff in. They paid $175. I mean, this is collectibles. This is art. The best way for them to do it is just to offer up $100 an ounce and let people turn it in. And people would turn it in. I'm not going to lie to you. I would turn some silver in at $100 an ounce. Paper. And I know some people are like, why would you do that? That's crazy. Because I can take that money and I can invest it in my forever home. I can get it, the profits essentially tax free. And I could get a really nice forever home. The property that I really want, my dream house, on maybe on a nice stream where I can put a sub pump out there, set it up to go to my garden, constantly water my garden on a cycle. I mean, there's so many things you could do. So yeah, I would get rid of some of my stack. I mean, that's what it's for. It's money essentially. Next comment, Silver Fox. Always enjoy your videos. Thank you so much, T. Thank you so much, Silver Fox. I appreciate you saying that. Can't thank you enough on that. Luna, how are you tonight, Luna Parker? I would love to hear about, how do you pronounce that word? Particulates? Considerations, possible downsides from your personal opinion. I know you're not a financial advisor. God forbid. Yeah, you know how the financial advisors are, what their opinions are regarding how to have metals in your portfolio if you are under 59 and a half years old, getting out of the stock market and into metals, mining stocks, and actual hard stuff, and how to know if you're getting a good deal. So I should have actually, I wish I had read this comment earlier. I may actually do a video on this. So getting into hard stuff, I don't know if when you say that you mean physical. To my knowledge, the only way you can get into physical is if you have someone else store it until you hit that retirement age. There is ways you can convert your retirement 401k into physical coins. There's one member on the channel that I talked to I haven't talked to him in a while, but he has, I want to say like 15 to 20 monster boxes in custody that someone else is holding for him. He didn't have that when he started. He had something like 10 or 12 monster boxes set aside. And then the Eagles turned out to do really well. And they basically contacted him and said, hey, we'd like to take 2 boxes of your Silver Eagles, and we will give you 3 boxes of 2 of these, 1 of these. They were frantically trying to get the Eagles from him. And they went to the easiest source, and that is the retirements that had certified Eagles that were essentially dedicated and separated. Let me grab a drink real quick. So that's the first thing, a custody where they have custody or stuff. There's a lot of companies that do that. Maybe I'll put together a video on that for you. The other way is obviously mining stocks. I don't really like mining stocks though, but I understand there are people out there that can't take their retirement out. They've got to keep their retirement in the game. And that's why they have that system. It's designed like a Ponzi scheme, in my opinion, to hold your money and scare you. If you take it out, you got to pay big penalties. So that's one of the things I don't like about that type of investment. I know some people like them. Obviously, if you're in a company that matches you, then you're probably going to do okay no matter what. I know one girl, she had asked me what I thought about it. And I told her, wait a minute, they're matching. You get to put 5% of your check in, and they're going to match that 5%. I said, first of all, if you just in the first period, the first month, you put 5% of your check in and they match the 5%, I said, you could literally see it crash by 50% and you're still even. And generally, I will say a lot of times when markets crash, they do rebound. In the past, when I was bigger in the stock market than I was precious metals, I would actually watch for crashes. And when we had a flash crash, I would bet big on that stuff. I mean, I've maxed out my credit cards, borrowed a ton of money, put it in the stock market, left it in the stock market for like literally 5 months, and then got all my money back and then some. I did make a mistake and forgot to submit that W-2 or 1099, whatever they call that when you have stocks. I didn't submit it for capital gains. They caught it. It was an accident. And they said, well, show us the paperwork on how you got it and give us the rundown on what all happened. And I did. And they said, okay, so you bought it for this, you sold it for that, you made so many thousands of dollars. This is what you should have paid us on it. Pay us that, and it's done and over with. It was less than a year. They didn't even hit me the interest on that. They just said, you owe us this. At least I don't think they did. I don't know. I don't know if if the interest was built in there. I was told it wasn't an audit. It was just they noticed something that flagged the account. I guess at the time it was E-Trade E-Trade. E-Trade sent them a W-2 or whatever. And they sent me one too. I just slipped up and forgot about it. So yeah, that I may have to do a video to give you guys some stuff, but I'm not a big fan of mining stocks. Physical is what I'm after. I'm not a big fan of custody vaulting necessarily either, even though some people say if you've got safety deposit boxes, that's like custody vaulting. I guess it is to a certain point, but I can go to the bank, not right now, but Monday through Saturday, I can go to the bank and pull it out if I need it, so that's my thoughts on that. Great question, Luna. That could be a potential video, I think, for an upcoming video. So I may get more into that for that. John, good video, T. Thank you so much, John. I really do appreciate that. I can't thank you enough. Okay. Tangled Up in Blue. Good morning, T. Maybe you talked about this before and I missed it, but with silver now classified as a critical and strategic mineral, do you think there would be a risk of government trying to confiscate? Man, we're seeing a lot of similar questions. That's 2 questions now that I've seen double up already. Risk of government trying to confiscate it from the general public. What would that look like? Keep up the good videos. The thoughts you share are very helpful to many. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Tangled in Blue. And thank you for being a member too. I appreciate that. Okay, so like I said, just today's video, at these prices, how do you justify a confiscation from a metal that is down 50% almost from its highs? I mean, think about that for a minute. How do you justify the price unless you're going to come out and say the markets are rigged, and they have been, silver is extremely needed, but we're not going to pay you for it because we're going to beat the price down. The only way that could happen, in my personal opinion, first of all, is if the price was at an all-time high. Prices peak to justify the need. Obviously, there is demand for they need it, so the price is peaking. No one is going to turn their silver in at $70 an ounce, I don't believe. All they would do is make the rule. Some people might turn it in, but I doubt it. I really do. Not today. You know, we had confiscation before with gold, and back then, though, everybody in America had gold. $20 was a $20 gold eagle. They wanted it turned in. I see a lot of companies pushing numismatic for the purpose. What's that sound? I don't know. I heard whistling a minute ago. I don't know what that came from. I didn't know if there was some kind of sound coming back off my mic or something. A lot of companies want to sell you numismatic coins, and they use the scare tactic of you should have numismatic, and they charge you a lot more money for that. I personally am not planning on turning mine in. I don't think that's going to come to that. I don't think many people would. I would follow the law to the letter if it came to that, but I don't think many people would. I mean, I've got a couple ounces. I just talk about it on here. And what people do, I guess that's up to them. Who knows? A lot of people tell me they lost it in a boating accident. I keep telling people, you take your silver out on a boat, be careful. If they're asking for it for free, well, I might as well just throw it in the ocean. Think about that. Why would anybody give up their valuables for free? Oh, do your patriotic duty. I'm not a fan of what they spend their money on anymore. There's a lot of things going on right now that I am just not a fan of. And that's it. I mean, you know, but could it come to that? It could. Obviously, I have to tell people it is recommended that you follow the law to the letter. It's not worth getting in trouble over. All they would have to do is just say, hey, we're going to buy it off you, $100 an ounce. Everybody would turn it in. I would turn mine in. And I know some of you guys watching this video heard me say that twice now. And you're like, what? Why would you turn your silver in for $100 paper? Because I'm not going to keep the paper. I'm going to take the paper and I'm going to buy something else. I'm going to go buy a piece of land. I'm going to buy some other asset. That's all they have to do. Literally offer $100 an ounce and everybody would turn it in. They're just printing that out of thin air. So who knows? How do you justify that something is so needed that you have to confiscate it when the price is half of its high only 2 months ago? Obviously, the price is crashing because there's no demand for silver and nobody wants it. I mean, that's what they're telling us. Are they lying to us then, or are they lying to us now? And I think today lawyers have gotten a lot better. I can't picture them confiscating. I mean, it wasn't even a just confiscation last time when they did it, but they can come back now and say, we didn't technically confiscate it. We asked people to turn it in, and they turned it in with their own free will. It's iffy. They turned it in because they were scared of the punishment, but who knows? There was one case where a guy went to court that we had looked up not too long ago. We had looked up the case. This happened way back when they did the gold confiscation. We had looked it up, and all of a sudden, you just didn't hear nothing of it anymore. We never really hear. Everybody did non-disclosures, and I mean, this happens all the time. Somebody fights it, and they say, "Okay, we'll let you win, but you can't tell anybody else because we don't want everybody fighting it." So who knows? Great comment on that one. Getting some really good comments today. Thank you so much again, Tangled in Blue. Let's see. What is up, White? I am sad. I want silver to stay down until precisely when I am done buying. Then shoot up and stay up until I'm ready to sell. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen exactly like that, but that is wishful thinking. But there's a lot of people that want to see the price stay down for a while so they can keep accumulating, and I understand that. Good morning. Look forward to tomorrow's video. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you saying that. Let's see. Next one. Thanks, T. Thank you, photography. I appreciate that. Let's see here. I know something to talk about. Weigh some old, worn 90% and 40% silver in order to find how much silver is missing. That would be a good video, actually. Maybe I could do that. I should end up doing that video because I've done that before, where I did a roll of Roosevelt 64 Roosevelt silver dimes, a roll of Mercury dimes, and a roll of Barbara dimes, and you would be shocked the difference in silver. So I may have to do that again, or find the old video and repost it even. But I'd have to probably voice over it, because if I tell you guys these dimes are $1.60 or $1.50 a piece, people are gonna be like, "What? What is he talking about?" It is often said that 14 silver dimes is 1 ounce of silver. You could be the first YouTuber to find out how much silver is missing from old silver coins. So I've told this story before on here. I'll say it again pretty quick. I went into a coin shop one time, and the guy had a big bag of silver dimes. I said, "Give me a deal if I got all of them." He put them on the scale. He said, "I'll sell them all to you for," and he told me. And I said, "Well, how many are there?" He goes, "I don't know." And I said, "Ooh, I don't know if I could take that chance." And I don't think I could take that chance buying without knowing how many are there. I said, "Can I count them and then tell you?" He goes, "Yeah, you can." He said, "But I can guarantee you at so much per dime, it's going to be less than that." And I said, "Well, how can you say that?" He goes, "Because I guarantee you some of them old dimes are worn and they're going to weigh less." Sure enough, I said, "Well, if I count them all up, will you still give me your initial offer?" And he said, "Yeah, I'll do that." Even though he got a kick out of it, because I sat there and I counted every one of them dimes. And there was a lot of dimes. There was like 1,000 dimes. But back then, a dime was only like $1.40, $1.50. Now a dime is like $5. So, but yeah, that was exactly what he had done. He was basically selling it to me at the silver scrap value. So 90% silver, not the actual face value. So you can find some good deals when people do that. And if they're telling you they're going to charge you by weight and not by dollar count, then definitely take the older dimes, because there's almost no way you can lose money out of that deal, in my opinion. Not financial advice. You're just going to get more dimes for your money, even though the weight will be accurate. If they're charging you by the dime, people will tell you take Roosevelt dimes because they have less wear. 64 Roosevelts. However, I still really like Mercuries because Mercuries are high demand. People really like Mercuries. So, great comments. Next one, Bullion Dollar. Great video. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate that. I'm going to have to sit up. I slowly keep sitting down, slipping down on my chair until I'm practically on the floor. And then all of a sudden I readjust. Okay, let's see. Because then I get too far from the screen. I can't quite make it out. Let's see. I haven't bought silver since it was $64.50. Going on 6 months now. I bought a set of 32 large British style pennies, $half size, about $1.25 each. Lots of nice, including a lot of nice ones, including a 1927 South African with a wooden ship on the reversed. Iran is... Hold on. Iran is the greatest national fortress on the planet. It's about 5,000-year-old civilization state. Everything we think we know about it is wrong. The people have suffered for 75 years under economic pressure, with 100 years of military occupation of that. There have been a lot of criticism about how the IRGC is handling things over the last 50 years, but they are 110% committed now that it has commenced. The illustrations of U.S. promises have been entirely dispelled. There will be no peace until Persia has been restored as a great civilization. I'm kind of reading a little ahead because I don't want to get in trouble for saying something, so I had to double check what I was saying as I was saying it. So here's the thing. Trying to think, because there's really not a question there that I see. I'm kind of looking at it again. You haven't bought anything. We're just going to take it a little at a time on this one. You haven't bought anything since $64.50. Here's the problem with that, and I've ran into this before when I talk to people. So if you've been saving all that fiat dollars for the last 6 months, then you did awesome. You're ready. The price is back down. You can do it. But I know someone that said he wasn't going to buy until it went back down to $20. And a year passed, and then it just kept going up higher and higher. He wasn't saving that money. He wasn't saving. So even if we did see $20 silver again, he ain't got that money saved. He going to take maybe that next paycheck and do it. So be mindful of that. That's why, someone paying a little bit higher, in my personal opinion, or even me paying a little bit higher, I don't worry about it because I have the physical. I have the silver. I have the receipt. If the price goes up, comes down, I can sell 1 ounce at the higher price, 1 ounce at the lower price, and boom. My numbers show that I broke even. Why? Because I put some of the high with some of the low, and I broke even. Now, at the end of the day, I'm only trying to preserve my wealth. I don't want to see something that I have get wiped out. And so that's why I like silver. I don't know much about the coins that you had said, British style pennies, $half size. I'm not a coin collector. I do like silver. I can't really say for sure the whole deal with Iran. I don't know I'm not from there. I don't know what they have, what they don't have. I will say we had some missions over there. They said they were effective, but obviously if we're back over there again, then they couldn't have been that effective. With that being said, I do worry things are escalating. I don't want to see some major event. And so I do worry. And I do think they are committed. They're not going to back down. I don't think they will. But who knows? We'll see how that plays out. Obviously, I don't want to see full all-out Middle Eastern W3 going down. So let's see here. Next comment. That was kind of a long one. I'm sorry. But good comment. I wish I knew more to be able to comment on some of that. Let's see. Walks with one. Things may look a little gloomy right now, but the tide is going to turn. The markets are down, and most people don't know what's going to happen here in the future. Glad I know how to grow food and know how to work with my hands. 3 hypes this week. I hope you have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you so much, Walks With Me. I do appreciate it. Yeah, learn how to grow food. I know I want to put some stuff in there. We're in a little bit of a drought right now, so I'm debating if I'm going to put some gardens together or not. Second thing on that, I want to get some chickens again. I used to do chickens. I will probably do a couple videos once I get them because I think it's important that people are preparing for what's coming. And there's a lot of things that people can do. So who knows? We'll see how that plays out. Great comment. Walks with one. I appreciate that. TY Blue Eye. I start every morning with T Square Talk. Thank you so much. I appreciate you saying that. Let's see. Silver Solutions. Good morning, Vietnam. For those of you that don't know what that means, that's because I said I would like to go to Vietnam. And so Silver Solutions said, I'm going to say that every morning, every comment until you get to go. I'll get to go, I hope. Let's see here. I really think you should do some coin shop content, brother. Also, you can talk to the history of the dollar in respect to other currencies since the original debasement in 1971, how the current admin is definitely trying to remove its status. Who knows where that leads, but a gold-backed silver monetary system is the answer to all currency issues. The U.S. has to find a way to bring industries and people back to work. You can just have a conversation with the chat, do a live stream, have a guest on. You're awesome. Keep up the good work, brother. We do appreciate it. So the problem with guests, I'm not a tech person, so I really don't know how to do the whole guest thing. There are some people that I would love to sit down with, but I don't think they got time for a small channel. Until you have a channel that's got at least 50,000 subs, it's hard to get some of them, the names of the people that I like, some of the big names. I can tell you Mike Malone. I'm trying to think of a couple of the names. It's late, so Peter Schiff, any of these people, you know, it's hard to get them. They're not gonna go online with essentially, I don't want to say a nobody YouTuber, but a small YouTuber. Janet Yang, Lynette Jang. Lynette, I can't even pronounce her name. Man, it's late. Let's see. Lynette Zhang. I'm trying to think of her name. Let's see here. War, distractions, struggle for control. Why throw so much of us at us. What is going down in November with SWIFT system and global economics? Why ISO should have been a huge focus in November 22nd, 2025. The Genius Act, why Dems and Rhinos drag their feet and work on behalf of central banking cartel lobbyists instead of representing we the people. Why? Because they want to make money. The lobbyists give them a lot of money, and so that's why they do what they do. So we are having a lot thrown at us right now. And when you think about everything going on, you would think silver and gold would be skyrocketing. The fact that they're not, just for me, gives me more confidence that I'm in the right park. I'm in the right bet. Does that mean that I have to swallow the pain for a little while? Yes, it does. When we had the housing collapse, there were people out there that knew that the housing market was collapsing. However, until they got rid of all their positions, everybody just had to sit and wait as, everything was collapsing. What could you do? I think right now gold and silver is a great investment. I don't care if the price is coming down. It just means I can get more for my money. And so we'll see how that plays out. There is a lot being thrown at us. Lobbyists give a lot of money away. And that's it. There's not much to say on that. Let's see, Thomas. Considering how China is supposedly grabbing up all the silver, do you think we could ever reach a point where silver would be hard to get? I have a significant stack right now, and I'm not selling. I'll pass it on to my ears and my heirs. So you might be one of the few people that wouldn't sell. I talk to older people, and the people that I know that are older, they say they'll sell for the right amount of money. Some of them are like me. If they could get what they want, especially if they're getting older and up there in years, they want to maybe cash in some of that, get out. Why do we buy silver? We buy silver to protect our wealth for down the road. If given the opportunity to get something you need, it is money, and I'm going to use it as money, so that means I may have to sell it if the opportunity comes up. So great comment and great dedication. If you're not going to sell it for any reason, that's dedicated. I've sold little stuff before. Let's see, Robert. Good morning, T and Stackers. Coffee cup emoji. Enjoying your coffee while you're watching the video. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. Luna back with another comment. Hyped. Thank you, T. Thank you so much for using that hype on me. I do appreciate it. Okay, the Happy Stacker 69. Good morning, T. Haven't grabbed any medals this week, but I have picked up a couple of Stacker Vault boxes for my American Silver Eagles. That green box sure sticks out like a sore thumb. Laugh out loud. Great time to get things for the stack if you're not buying medals at the moment. So yeah, I'm actually looking around for a guard box that holds $50. I've been wanting to work on a $50 guard box, but I don't want a $250 box. I would think they would have boxes that hold the exact same amount as a $50 box, which is $500. I want it in the same shape and everything if I could find it. I may have to have someone 3D print one for me, but who knows how that will play out. I don't know if they can do that. I actually know a girl that does 3D printing. I just am very particular on how I stack stuff. Some of y'all know I made a mistake. I put my silver $50 in paper rolls, and I did cash a bunch in. I cashed a bunch of the quarters in. This happened a while back. It was a devastating thing, but I had one subscriber and member, think how happy you made someone when they found it. I hope somebody found it. I would be sad if it ended up just, I don't know, going back to the Fed and it's just sitting there so they can take it. But yeah, I'm particular now on how I stack silver. And for those of you that don't know how that could happen, because someone out there might write a extremely negative comment, remember, I sold a house. If you've been following the channel for a while, I had an $85,000 check, and I told the bank I wanted it cashed in half dollars. And I did that all on videos here. And they said, we can give you $6,000 a week in half dollars until the check is cashed. And I said, I'll take it. And I just kept accumulating half dollars, going through them on videos when I had time, opening them up for you guys, did different events. And one day I said, man, I need some money for something. I got to cash a bunch of these in. And so I ended up cashing a bunch in, and I accidentally cashed in some of my good ones. So that's how that happened. Mike, okay, I have an idea. So I'm guessing the way you wrote idea is because I have a reel. So this is a funny, I don't know if I should get into this. For the long, I still have an accent. My accent from Maine, when I say certain words, comes up really bad on that word. That is one of the probably dozen or so words that comes out all wrong. I used to get teased about that word all the time. Idea. What is an idea? Like IDEAR? Like dear so-and-so. Yeah, so I'm guessing that's why you wrote that like that, but it is funny. I have an idea for a video. Why precious metals are becoming the new global trust anchor. It actually is a good idea for a video. I read this comment earlier and I wanted to. This one actually got sent directly to my phone. Sometimes they do go right to my phone now, even when someone's not a member. It just somehow, I don't know why it does that, but that one did. And when I read it, I wanted to reply back, but then I was like, oh no, it's Friday. If I reply back, then I may not find the comment again for the video. So explore how gold and silver and other metals are no longer just inflationary hedges. They are becoming strategic trust assets in the world where economic policy, geopolitical stability, and social confidence are all under pressure. Even more countries are now starting to trade in gold. Of course, we always want to see the shiny stuff. Maybe you could ask your viewers to send in some B-roll footages of their stuff from their local coin shop that you can narrate over your topic. If you're out and about, find one of those deals you always talk about without your phone and record the prices that you are looking at. I'm also putting together a package to send you. You can use it for an online opening if you want. Thank you so much for the package. I do appreciate that. So there's a couple things here. B-roll footage, I can't risk that right now because there have been in the past people that take footage off the internet and then they end up emailing it to someone. Somebody uses that footage unknowingly that it wasn't theirs. So let's hypothetically say you send me some footage and say, hey, this was my local coin shop, and it comes off another YouTuber's page. I post it, talk over it, and then all of a sudden that YouTuber sees it or it gets back to that person. Oh, wait a minute. That's so-and-so's coin shop. That's so-and-so's video. And then all of a sudden I get in trouble. So I don't use other people's footage unless I was there and know what had happened. Just because of that. There are people out there, believe it or not, that their sole purpose is to ruin YouTubers' channels. Unfortunately, there's always going to be haters. So I can't use other people's footage, or I don't choose to, because I don't have the trust in everybody that their footage is, what's the word, theirs, and that they are the sole proprietor of that footage. YouTube is funny about copyright stuff, and if you get caught on a copyright deal, it can be devastating to a channel. As for finding the deals, I do usually show short videos of the deals. I just haven't done any lately. Excuse me. A lot of that stems from right now me still trying to move, still working on my house. I haven't been putting any money lately into silver. I bought a lot at $32 an ounce, and now I've got to pay that back. I only have 85 days left to pay that back. And so I have been cracking the whip. Every penny that I get, I deposit into my bank account, and every penny goes to paying that off. Otherwise, 1 year will have snuck up on me, and then I will have to honestly tell you guys I bought a bunch at 32, but now the remaining balance I'm paying 29% interest on. It was great to have it at 0% for a year. I'm not complaining. I think the stuff that I bought at $32 is still a super deal, and I can't see that changing, but that's where a lot of my money is going. Coin shops are funny. You start filming in a coin shop, and they can get mad at you unless it's a special type of person. There are some YouTubers out there that have deals with coin shops. They recognize it as a good thing. I personally have gone to a couple coin shops. One specifically in Augusta, Maine. Although technically it wasn't Augusta, it was Hollowell, Maine. But now he's in Augusta, Maine. And the guy refused to let me do any kind of footage. He didn't want me recording in his shop. Like I was casing the place to rob him. And I said, I kind of found it comical in a way. But I was like, whatever, dude. And it irked me a little bit. That the guy was that paranoid. I said, I don't need to film in your store to try to case the place. If I wanted to rob it, all your cameras are in public view. I can just mental note, top corner there's one, so on and so on. But people are just funny. In fact, there was a coin shop in Augusta, Maine that actually got robbed not too long ago, about a year ago. Somebody actually wrote to me that knows that coin shop. And I was like, ooh, that sucks. Metals becoming the global trust anchor. You're absolutely right. A lot of people have always used the dollar as the trust item, and now that is failing. If we don't like what you're doing, we'll confiscate your dollars. If we don't like what you're doing, we'll put pressure on you. If we don't like what you're doing, we'll tariff you. A lot of people would just rather trade in gold now, because gold, if I don't like you, it doesn't matter. I'll take your gold if you want to give it to me. If my buddy doesn't like you, he might take your gold because he knows he can sell it to me. There's a million ways to look at that. But yeah, gold is a trust item. There's a reason why they made it a tier 1 asset. And we'll see what happens and how that plays out. So great comment, Mike. Thank you so much for the package. I do appreciate that. I look forward to getting that, and I can't thank you enough. I know there was actually you had sent me an email at one point, Mike, and I was so sad a little bit when I read that email. I don't know if you ever got my reply. I'm guessing you did, but for those of you that don't know, I am a little bit more secret. I used to be 100% transparent. I would show my stack. I would show where I'm at. I would show me. I did a lot of stuff, and then something bad happened. And from that day on, I started taking a little bit more precautions. Unfortunately, you got to be a little more precautious now because of the way the world is. Even the mailing address that I had sent you in the email, I had to use someone else's box. I don't want to use my physical home address. And that's, I don't go out there all the time. So if you do send a package, let me know. I don't make it a point to go out there unless I know I got something out there. And so that's one of the things. Let's see here. And some of y'all know that I did get broken into. People thought I had a house. Somebody out there thought I had a house full of gold. It's kind of comical. You come in my house, you're going to be like, what the heck, dude? Is this dude broke, poor? Let me put it this way. When, well, I probably shouldn't get too personal. I got to be careful here how I say this. So some of y'all know I was married for a long time, and I don't get too much into this. It's a touchy subject, sore subject, who knows. And when she left, she's like, no, I don't want any of the junk here. I'm not a wasteful person. I'm a simple person. I have an old couch that someone was getting rid of. It's still a nice couch, but you know how people are. People all want brand new nowadays. And so, it is what it is. I'm not like that. I'm simple. That's one of the reasons why I want to go to Vietnam or the Philippines. I want to live with people that think like me, that are simple, that are just happy to be alive, and they don't need the latest and greatest items. Do I sometimes let certain things go where maybe I could step up on certain things? Yes. I had a pair of shoes that were just like totally beat up. It's kind of funny. I talked about it in a previous video, and then New Marshall, who's a member of the channel, had actually sent me a pair the other day. He's like, "Hey, I sent you these shoes. They're new and they probably will fit you." So yeah, I'm a simple person. I'm grateful for every little thing. It can be anything. It can be like today at Sonic. I went to Sonic and I got fries instead of tater tots with my meal, and I asked if, I said, hey, can I see the receipt real quick? He gave it to me. I said, ooh, it said tater tots. I had said tater tots. I said, would I be out of line to ask you to swap these out? He said, no, of course not. I can give you tater tots. He said, you know what? Keep the fries. And I said, for real? He said, yeah, we can't. We're just going to throw them. I said, thank you very much. And then I gave him a Eisenhower dollar. And then he was so excited. He's like, oh, wow, thanks. I mean, but some people, they would just rather take it and throw it away than let someone else have it. So little things like that I'm always grateful for. I was excited. A free fry on a Friday. Free fry Friday. And no, it wasn't at McDonald's. It was at Sonic. So let's see. Someone else said... Oh, I'm sorry. How did that roll? Did that roll down? Oh, I finished that comment. Okay, Mike. Next comment, Thomas. Please don't give up on your channel. I highly value your opinions. I believe you are one of the best. And the reply on that was, who knows such things? I second that notion. This is the only channel I am subscribed to. Even though we don't always agree on everything, but what two people do. Politically, we are divided as a country, but I don't meet a stranger. But I don't meet a stranger while he doesn't believe in boots on the ground. I do. Because, hey, we're going to get into this real quick. I might mention this. Because without that, we can't accomplish all the goals. And that is a strong possibility. I will agree with that. Hold on a minute. And we need to recover at least some of the cost with the oil. Or we taxpayers will pay 100% of this very expensive military campaign. We should completely take over and install democracy, and with our own hand-picked puppets in place, China and Russia will take notes. They will never stop trying to acquire... can't say that word, I don't think, so we'll just say Nikes. And only we can stop them. So if they don't want them to have a Nike, then we want boots on the ground. Can't have your cake and eat it too. So we'll talk about both of these, especially because the first comment was just don't give up on your channel. We value your opinion. So this is going to be an easy comment to talk about. First thing, yeah, I don't want to give up on this. I really do enjoy doing the videos. I think silver right now is a hard topic, though, to do. It's getting harder. The higher the price goes, the harder it gets to sit here and tell people silver is a good investment. I believe firmly it is. I'm happy with my investments in silver. That will never change. Giving up, I don't think I could give up. I think I could take a break. I think eventually when I get into other stuff, that some people will stop watching. I believe that. I didn't always talk about precious metals. I used to talk about all kinds of other stuff. I used to teach people how to get go to the grocery store and get $500 worth of groceries for like $5. My record is like $1,000 for $1 in groceries at the grocery store. I used to love extreme couponing. Videos never took off. People weren't interested in them. I would talk about tips on how to get your coupons. Order your coupons from a big city. Yes, you got to pay 15 cents for an insert. But they send you 100 of them inserts from, let's say, Dallas. And then I use them coupons in some little town in the middle of nowhere where the prices aren't as high. And in Dallas, let's say a Tide is $15 and they give it to you $7.50 off. And then in a small town, Tide is $10 and they give you $5 off, but you get your coupon from the big city. So now you have the $7.50 off coupon, which works in any other city. They just don't put them out to that region. And then, boom, you now have a $10 gallon of Tide that you're only going to pay $2.50 for because you just got a $7.50 off coupon. I would teach a lot of that type of stuff. Those videos didn't take off. I did homesteading. I did prepping. I did canning. I did raising chickens. Some of that cooking. Some of that's still up. And that didn't take off. And then I moved into silver, and I really enjoyed the silver videos because it does play a big part of my life right now. And soon I'll go to something else. I may get into traveling. Who knows? Moving on to the reply to that, second the notion, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Who knows such things? And I will definitely say what you said sounds pretty accurate. We're not going to accomplish what they want to accomplish if we don't put boots on the ground. What I worry about is a long, drawn-out event. Footing the bill, you're absolutely right. If we don't get that oil, taxpayers are stuck paying that bill. But you know what? We're always stuck paying the bill. Doesn't matter. Venezuela, we got some of their oil, and I didn't see oil prices come down. I didn't get no tax breaks. I don't even really think it made a huge difference. I don't want to sound negative on that note, but because you are right in that sense, if we could get that oil from them, we could definitely use that oil to help pay for what we've lost. I think what they are doing, so for some of you that don't really know, I think it's, how do you say that island? Craig Island? I can't remember. Craig Island. An island off the coast of Iran that the U.S. does want to take over. I would be shocked if they don't have major defenses on that island that we don't fully know about. And I would worry that if we go in, they might be a little more prepared. A lot of people put down Iran as like a podunk country, but people got to understand the history of Iran. I'm not going to say they were like, oh, the greatest civilization. I'm not that dedicated like that. But I will say they have been up against a lot of enemies, and most of the time, them enemies have just been drug out. I mean, they've been against Russia. Russia tried. British had tried. Everybody has tried. And a lot of times these events just cost a lot of money. And in the end, there is no actual winner. Some people say, oh, they win. They don't win. They lose too, but that's what worries me. I don't want to see our sons and our daughters coming home in bags, essentially. That's why I worry. I was military. I've been in war zones. Even as Navy, a lot of people think, oh, you were just in the Navy. That doesn't count. I've been in active minefields in the Middle East when we were over there. So it does happen. Granted, nothing happened to me while I was in, so that's a good thing. China and Russia will be taking notes. Absolutely. Yeah, because if we get tangled up in this and we start losing too much, then I really worry about what China and Russia is going to do. I don't want to weaken our position. Right now, we are on the offense. I think if we lose the offense, then we are going to be on the defense, and we're going to start getting picked away at. We're already losing a lot of bases in the Middle East, and that's what worries me a little bit. But I can't really deny what you're saying. In order to accomplish what they want to accomplish, it's going to cost boots on the ground. It's going to need that. But just because I don't want that doesn't mean that's not what it needs to happen. So great. And I like the way you said it. People don't always agree on everything. Some people, they can't have an honest conversation because they're not willing to give anything. I've had conversations with people, and I had one lady tell me she would rather see the United States burn to the ground, than see Trump succeed. And I said, I want you to think for a little bit. I said, I'm going to head out because I got other stuff to do, but I want you to think what you just said. You would rather see the U.S. burn to the ground than see that guy succeed. I can't say that about anybody. I mean, I may not have liked a certain administration, previous administrations, but I just wish that things were better under that administration. And the same thing would go for any administration. I want peace. I want security. I definitely want a good economy. And I don't care who does it. It could be a Democrat. It could be a Republican. It doesn't matter to me. But when someone says they'd rather see the country burn to the ground than somebody succeed, I said, that's not very nice. That's a very mean thing to say when you think about it. And then I think she got the message. We've never talked politics again, me and that lady. But who knows? Let's see here. Sean, as a stacker, we should be content with $70 silver. The price is still $20 higher than the coveted 50 we all kept dreaming about. Patience is the game for now. Silver will increase in value over time. Fundamentals have not changed. Absolutely. I'm not complaining about $70 silver. I mean, at the end of the year, if silver is 80 or 90, I'll be happy. If silver is under 70 by the end of the year, I will be disappointed. If silver's sitting at 50, you're not going to hear me saying much good about silver if silver's $50 at the end of the year. But who knows? Someone's gonna bookmark this video and come back to it at the end of the year. Let's see. Farm of Purpose. Farm of Purpose. That's how you say it. Good morning, T. Indeed, I do have a question. Please be patient with me. I am a slow learner. That's all right. No big deal there. If you sell silver, then obviously someone else will buy that silver. Therefore, the price shall remain neutral, even. Why is it going up and down in price then? Like I said, explain that to an attention deficit child. Please, slowly. Sure, I shall listen. Okay, so that's easy to discuss, actually. And a lot of that will revolve around the bid and the ask. So let's take a look at this chart. Let's see. Can I see the bid and the ask on here? No, actually, I can't see it on this one. Let me see if I can see it on this one. Does it have bid and ask? Give me a quick second here. I gotta find the right chart for you. Open, high, low. Okay, give me a quick second. Where the heck is it? Bear with me for a quick second. I'm looking for the bid and the ask to show it to you. Most people just look at the spot price, but there's actually two prices that people look at, the bid and the ask. I might have to explain it without finding a chart. What is the bid and ask on silver right now? Nope, I don't want that. What is the bid and the ask on silver right now? Oh, stop it. On silver. Actually, you know what? We can explain it even easier right here. So, I'm going to use this chart right here, even though I could have got it, but I was trying to find the actual bid and the ask, the physical bid and ask at this exact moment. Okay, so silver bid is the highest price a dealer will be willing to buy an ounce of silver, while the ask or offer is the lowest price they are willing to sell it for. We're going to explain this in an actual real-world example in just a minute. The ask price is almost always higher than the bid price. The difference is known as the spread. We'll get into a few different things with this in a minute. So remember, the bid price, selling, this is the price you receive when you sell your silver. You have the right to sell, just like a stock. You don't have to sell for that price. You can set your sell at whatever price you want. You can set your buys as I'm only willing to buy if I can get it for this price. This does not apply at a coin shop. So, right now, silver is showing $69.62. I'm sorry, I'm only willing to pay $69.50 right now. Or I'm only willing to pay $69. And to make it easy, I'll say I'm only willing to pay $69. So I set the computer to buy silver at $69. Now, this is for commodity trading, not for American Silver Eagles or something like that. So if everybody out there says they're only willing to pay $69, Samsung comes out and says, look, we need some silver for phones, but we're only paying $69. Tesla comes out and says, we need some silver for our EV vehicles. We're only willing to pay $69. But yet the price is essentially $69.62. That is because somebody out there that has physical silver says they are only willing to let go of silver for $69.62. So the price is $69.62. If someone that has a lot of silver, or some silver even, says, you know what, I'll let it go for $69, then this $69.62 drops to $69 because someone is willing to let it go for $69. Now, how can you see the extreme sells? That's because there are people out there that are putting huge amounts of silver contracts out there saying that, yes, we are selling silver at 69, but we're not selling it physical right this minute. We'll give you a contract in 30 days or whenever the next due date is, which happens to be the first of the month, which is only a few days away. They've got to deliver. Now, when that delivery date comes, they've agreed that they're going to sell so many ounces of silver. And so there is incentive to beat the price down. If I've got to sell 1 million ounces of silver, I don't want to sell it at 69, 62. I don't want them, I don't want to have to pay them even. If they say, look, we don't even want the physical silver, we just want the cash. I may not want to give away 69, 62. But if I can manipulate the price of silver down using contracts to 68, 67, 65, then essentially I don't have to pay 69 for 1 million ounces. I got to pay 65 or whatever I can beat the price down to for the 1 million ounces. So that's kind of why we see the price always moving up and down. People are not always willing to pay what they think it is. And a lot of them numbers are based off contracts that come out that say, okay, next month silver prices are going to go down. There's already a lot of people that are saying sell in May and go away. And come May, we're going to start seeing the silver price get beat down. Therefore, there's a lot of people that are willing to sell their silver at these numbers, 69, 62, or whatever, because they think the price is going to go lower. That's not what I believe, but that is what some people think. I think silver prices will go higher, and I'm willing to wait and hold. I wouldn't sell at these numbers, but I would sell, if we got up over 100, I might be tempted to let a little bit go. But who knows? I said that before, that I would sell half my stack if we ever hit 50 or 60. We have been clearly over that, and I did not sell half my stack. In fact, I bought a little bit more. So who knows? I hope that answered your question. I think it did. I think that was a good answer. So definitely patient. Let's see, next comment. We are probably getting almost to the end. Thomas, do you believe we are getting lied to about this? I don't think we're getting the truth. WAT? Yeah, I wondered too I was like about this. WAT. The truth. You can't handle the truth. Or at least the public in general can't handle the truth. Okay, so there's a comment, a couple of replies there. I wondered what you meant by WAT. I'm guessing that is a way to not have your comments get flagged and taken down. I'm guessing you would replace the T with the R is what I'm going to go out on a limb about the... You can put that together now. If you replace the T with an R, you have a different word. Yeah, I do. I mean, I've said that from the get-go. Let me think how to say this. I think it's about the dollar. I don't think it has anything to do with the whole... I hate to say this. I know I'm going to upset one of my favorite subscribers. So the dollar's in trouble. We've seen this time and time again. The dollar is being challenged. It was already being challenged before this happened. You have a country that is selling oil in other currencies, not wanting dollars. And now they're even saying that the only way we're going to let oil through is for 2 million yuan. $2 million, or it has to be traded in yuan. Um, the reason they are doing that, they want to see oil get traded in yuan instead of dollars. They're trying to help China for whatever reason. They are trusting the Chinese currency over the dollar, which would lead me to believe that China is in on this whole thing. They're just playing the quiet proxy partner, just like we were involved in the whole Ukraine or the whole Europe thing. I got to walk on eggshells in how I say some of these words right here, but yeah, I mean, the whole Europe thing, we were involved in. We were just involved on the sidelines. We were giving weapons to one side. I think China is giving weapons to one side too, giving aid. I mean, drones, all these high-tech drones, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of them came from China, or the parts they used to make them came from China. And if they are trying to undermine the dollar, we're going to say whatever we have to say to go over there and put a stop to that. Like I said, I'm retired military, and I've seen some crazy stuff happen in my time. Even George Bush, we had to go over there because of their W of mass destruction that turned out, oh, my bad, we don't even have them. And he made a joke about it after, and I didn't appreciate that joke. I'm trying to think how to say this properly. I don't think we're being told the truth on this. This is about the dollar. The dollar is in trouble. And at this point, if we don't win this and put a stop to this, it's going to spread. That's what I really think it's about. And like I said, I hate to see people's lives get put in danger. But I understand, when the dollar's at stake, everything's got to be put on the table. So we'll see how it plays out. Next comment, Robert. And like I said, some of these comments can put me on the spot, where I try to answer it and kind of be as politically correct as I can. Robert G. Why does Kitco say Turkey is selling of gold? Yeah, so I can't comment on that one because I didn't hear anything about that. I haven't watched Kitco in a while. Yeah, I haven't seen Kitco in a long time. Ever since they lost one of their hosts, I haven't really watched them anymore. And what's sad is I can't even remember her name. Let me think if I can get it right. Not Lynette. So Lynette, some people have labeled as the godmother of silver. The fairy godmother of silver, and the queen of silver was the other one. What was her name? She went to ITM. I can't think of it now. What's sad is I actually have her on my Facebook friends. Because okay, I'm a little guilty. Sometimes I have too much time on my hands, and I wanted to hunt down who the person was. And that was exactly what somebody did to me, and I didn't like it. What is her name now? That's driving me nuts. Needless to say, I didn't hear anything about Turkey selling its gold. But it is money. I mean, I've always said I would sell if I needed something. Maybe they are in a position where their currency is dropping and they need to sell some gold to strengthen it. I think the gold should keep it strengthened, but if they've got bills or stuff they need to take care of, who knows? Considering our massive debt, in your opinion, how long before we have a massive failure It seems like it's getting close. So failure on debt comes down to confidence. As long as people have confidence in the U.S. debt that we can pay it and that the amount that we owe is not a big deal, then essentially it's not a big deal. Ultimately, it is, and eventually, just like anybody, eventually people will not loan money to us. And what does that do? Well, you can't increase debt when no one will loan to you. And if you want to, the only thing you can do is just print money out of thin air, which they've already done, but they're going to have to limit that at a certain point. Otherwise, we start to see hyperinflation. So we'll see how that. When do I think, if I had to put a number on it, when do I think the failure? There's no real way to know at what point people will. I think we're already in the final stages. Look what's going on in the Middle East. Look what's going on around the world. I think the U.S. is being challenged right now. A country stays on top only so long. When there's political divide within the country, generally it starts getting pulled apart from the inside. And then that's when other countries start chipping away at us. We're already being chipped away at. We're being challenged on small fronts until eventually we're just pushed totally out. So who knows? We'll see how that plays out. But I think it's getting close. There's no way to really say a when specifically. For now, like I said, I think gold and silver is going to keep going up. It's a no-brainer, and that's why I am targeting it as much as I am. Taking a look at the next comment. Robert, good video. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. Morning tea and fellow stackers. Do you think the 70s is the floor or more of the 60s? Unfortunately, more of the 60s, but I'm saying that based off hindsight since I already know where we're at now. So, yeah, we could have some more of the 60s. Let's see. Chuck Johns. Good morning, T. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Joe. What site? Okay, so I'm going to have to answer this after, I think, because there's only 3 comments left. Well, I guess I'm gonna come back to that what site. Doc, good morning, T. Thank you so much. Good morning. Hope you're having a great day. Unknown, I hyped. Good morning, T. Thank you so much for the hype. I do appreciate that. And I can already see the answer to that one right below it. So, okay, let's see here. What site do you use to see the up to the minute prices? Couple days ago, you said silver got as low as 60. It technically got down to like 62. But yeah, I did say in the 60s. But I only saw 73. How fast can you get the lows at the online bullion dealer? And I want to catch the low at SD Bullion ASAP as fast as possible. So there's a couple tricks you can do that, and I'll talk about that here in a second. What do you think for the Q&As? So, okay. You can go to the App Store or go online, ask for an app that can send you notifications. I don't have it on my phone anymore, but for a while I had my phone set to ring. It would call me up, an automated call, if the price of silver dropped to a certain point. Now, since you said SD Bullion, I'm going to pull up SD Bullion for a quick minute. I'm going to show you something. SD Bullion. So the first thing is catching the dips. There's no way, nobody's got a crystal ball to know what the dip is. So you need to set a price that you would like to see the spot price drop to, and that's what you're willing to buy. And then you set an alarm on your phone to give you an alarm notification if silver hits a certain number. I have literally gotten a phone call, an automated phone call at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, saying such and such just hit such and such. You're being notified because of the presets that you have on your app. Such and such is such, they basically tell you exactly what's going on. And then all of a sudden I check, I'm like, oh my word, silver price plunged. And so then I end up jumping over to whatever site I like. You guys know what sites I do like. I've talked about them before. You said you like SD Bullion. And then all of a sudden, boom, you put in a buy order. However, I want people to understand, take a look at that spot price right there, $70.50. Now take a look at the silver spot price. It's not $70.50. It's almost a full dollar less. And so when that happens, there's opportunity there. Generally, you're going to see the online dealers are all going to charge a little bit more for precious metals. So people, trying to find that right deal, that exact deal. Let's see. Can I see it here? Let's see. 1 month. Boom. It was specifically on 23 of March, but they have been having issues lately. Let me think for a quick minute here. Just had brain fog for a minute. How long has this video been going? Real quick, I glanced at something and I was like, man, what time is it? Whoo, 2 hours almost. Okay, and that was what I thought. But this is the last comment. So, if I were you, I would go online, find an app that you can download on your phone through the Play Store, depending on if you have an Apple or an Android. Set the presets to what you think is a good price on silver. And then remember, they have premiums too. So the preset that I would look for right now would be, I would have an alarm set for $65 spot price. I would also set one for $63 spot price. If 65 gets triggered, I would look and see what's going on. I would jump over to whatever your favorite site is. And then you said yours was SD Bullion. And then I would already know what I'm going to buy by using their cart up here option. You can put stuff in their cart. Remember the premiums, though. I wonder if you can do what I was going to do. I wanted to know one day. I'm not going to do it right now because I don't have a cart. But I was on one site that I used to do. I would take an item, like we'll say this 2026 Eagle, and I would type in 28,552 or just any number, and I would say add it to the cart. And then all of a sudden a little message would pop up that says, I'm sorry, there's only 2,041 of this item available. And that way I could track how many they had, and then I could do it again that night, and that would tell me roughly how many they've sold during the course of the day. So I could track roughly how much silver is being sucked up right now from customers like me and you. That way I would know, is there really a lot of demand on silver right now, or is that being blown out of proportion? Once you have the app on your phone, you set the price for what you want. I would already have the stuff that you're kind of interested in the cart. Remember, when the price dips, a lot of stuff does sometimes not get sold. It goes offline, where they say we'll notify you. So keep that in mind. And there's no way that I know of to set an alert for the SD Bullion price. That would be a cool feature. Man, if I worked for SD Bullion, that would be what I would do. I would set something up where I could click on this and notify me if these get down to such and such a price. And all of a sudden, they can see it. SD Bullion could see it. And all of a sudden, oh, hey, we got a lot of people saying notify me if it goes under 80. So all of a sudden, they can, if they want to, let the price go down to 80 and boom, sell them out. So with that being said, going to wrap up there. I'll be honest, that was a tiring video tonight. A lot of great comments, a lot of great questions. Thank you all for watching, commenting. 1:37 in the morning. Video ran about 2 hours almost. So thank you all for watching, commenting. Consider checking out some of my other videos. Like I said, I do videos every Monday through Saturday, but the Saturday ones have a lot of meaning for you, I believe. It's a way that I can communicate with you. I know a lot of people have questions they want answered, and so they like that. I've had a lot of people say they like the Saturday videos. Obviously, nobody likes some people don't like a 2-hour video. And then on top of that, it has a lot of meaning for me because I feel like I'm communicating. I'm more specific between me and you. So with that being said, thank you all for watching, commenting, and I will see you guys again next time on T-Square Talk. There's no sense in me really going through the numbers right now because it is the weekend, so silver's not going to trade, gold's not going to trade, and just keep your eyes open looking for deals this weekend. Thank you all for watching, commenting, and I will see you all again on T-Square Talk. Consider clicking on one of these hyperlinks for one of these great videos. There is a possibility I will be going live this weekend for one of our last, well, I can't say last either. Some of y'all know I am going to refresh the whole membership things, how that's all set up. I gave people plenty of notice, 1 month notice if anybody is a member and they wanted to cancel their membership. Gave them that notice to consider it if they want to. If not, after that, we're going to do some different stuff for members. So thank you so much for watching, commenting. Consider clicking on one of these hyperlinks. And for those of you that don't like long videos, I'll say it even though you're probably not still in the room. I apologize for the long video, but I hope you got something out of it. Take care, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow on T-Square Talk. Take care, everybody. Have a great one. Bye-bye.